So you want to be a guild master in World of Warcraft, eh? You want to be the captain of a sinking ship? Yeah? You want a false sense of entitlement and be the most popular kid in high school because you weren't? Then you've come to the right place. Here's the things I wish I knew before becoming a guild master in World of Warcraft. You are expected to copy off the hard work of others. You must evolve and become a master of plagiarism. You must keep one eye on the prize and the others on theirs. Whether that be copying the other guild's Discord community layout, or their raid roster planner, or their raid strats, or even their own guild recruitment posts, there are always other guild masters that are smarter than you. So if you want to survive, you must learn to cheat. You must be extremely proficient in Excel. You must tackle and really understand the core concept of copy and pasting from one cell to another.
Yes, see, there's it,
Wow.
these.
Oh, here we go.
Yaakov, what in the hell is going on here? Now, Chastain, oh my God, come on.
If you adhere to my last point and copy off somebody's own spreadsheet, be advised that doing anything yourself could result in fucking up the macros, rendering the spreadsheet a shadow of its former self. Now, be ready for these spreadsheets to become worthless as they sit there collecting dust because no one can be bothered to read them or update them. I also find it helpful to fill the cells with a little bit of color, just to make it a little more playful and professional. Most of your time is going to be spent recruiting. Whether that's because you have no friends or the friends that you do have randomly abandoned you without saying goodbye, you are expected to stand there in any city from day and night, living in trade chat or LFG and spamming the same constant messaging over and over and over until someone is stupid enough to believe what you have to say is important.
Smiggle! I've got one! I've got a fish me! Smiggle! Go on! Put it on!
Now, as an added tip, it certainly helps to add quirky, random, unrelated concepts into the messages to attract attention, like pizza included, or we're not a cult, or seeking all giga chats. Now, I found out that the best way to recruit and to increase your chances is to simply lie and provide those candidates with a false sense of reality in terms of how good your guild really is and how far you've progressed. I mean, if they didn't bother looking up your logs, whose fault is it anyway, right? Can't blame us. Now, try your best to recruit the best possible talent because you can't do everything yourself, and you'll find that the people you recruit will require more attention than your own personal relationships. Expect a group of people claiming to be officers, but they actually have no real responsibility and make absolutely no tangible impact on the guild. Now, you will recruit certain people who exhibit the potential of having real leadership qualities, but constantly fall short of the mark.
I'm retarded?
Like the cockroaches that they are, they will mooch off your hard, painstaking work and claim it as their own. Now, these officers will continue to make comments about all the problems of your guild, but actually never make suggestions on how to improve them. God forbid they actually take on any responsibility or initiatives on their own. Their sole purpose in the guild is to remind you of how bad of a job you're doing. And any efforts that they do end up being equivalent to a child building a sandcastle. It's cute, but utterly inept. The scope of their work can involve talking shit, complaining again, and delivering hype-related messages on raid day. No one cares about your announcements as much as you do. Now, it is expected of a GM to always communicate with your guild. These will be in the form of announcements. This is a specific channel in Discord, your little safe haven when you can really truly be yourself and express all the problems and solutions that you've made. It's very important that you don't grant anybody else the permissions here. This is your channel. It's really important in those announcements to provide your guildies with a false sense of security that your guild really isn't going to shit and everything will be okay. Now, as amazing as your office email capabilities are, there's a high chance that no one actually really gives a fuck or spent the time to read them. Prepare for absolutely zero appreciation for all your efforts and be prepared to be constantly criticized. Expect to repeat things over and over and over and over.
Please tell me you speak English. I'm Detective Carter. Do you speak any English? Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
Now, it doesn't matter how often you communicate, it is expected of you to keep repeating yourself. As I referred to the last point, no one actually wants to spend the time reading anything you said. Every week, you will come across the same fucking mundane questions from your guildies, and they are not limited to the following. When are raid times? What raid am I in? Where do I sign up? How does loot work? Who's a blacksmith? Now expect to constantly ping people to sign up for raid. The raid helper sign up, the cornerstone and foundations of any working guild. Although you believe it to be a legal binding document, and no matter how many times you ping somebody, even if they're on Discord while you post the sign up, you are expected to ping people throughout the week and enforce them to enjoy the game they're actually playing. Become fully aware that it'll be the same people every week. Oh, and God forbid they signed up late and the raid is filled. Well, they'll just become angry at you for losing their position. Outside of recruiting, this will be by far the most time-consuming process. Make sure that your primary job makes a lot of money, because this work pays nothing but sadness and disappointment. Expect an increase of illnesses and work-related emergencies.
I can't go out. I'm sick.
Boo, you whore.
Now expect that those that signed up and double confirm their sign up, that they will have some extraordinary set of circumstances that warrant them not being able to attend raid. The same commitments that they made to you in attending raid just the day before seem to no longer apply. This will certainly not be mentioned to you beforehand, no, but rather 30 minutes before raid starts, leaving you with abandonment issues that you must resolve on your own as you look to rush and chase for pugs that either can't speak English or wear cloth as plate wearers. Expect your raid leads to develop a certain mental illness over time.
Who the fuck was that? Crush him! What the fuck? Whelps! Left side! Even side! Many whelps! Now handle it! Fuck!
Now, contrary to my last point, the illnesses related to raid leading are actually real. Based on all the shit that you already deal with as a GM, it is highly advised that you force someone to raid without their consent so they can undertake this task themselves. They are expected to spend all their time at work making raid assignments and visual-based diagrams that, once again, others won't care to read or implement. Your raid leads will first start out positive and reassured that the raid strats they've created will be implemented perfectly. They will soon come to know that just like communism, some things are just better written on paper than practiced in real life. As the encounter fails and their dreams shatter, they begin to place their frustrations on others. You will notice this almost immediately, especially when wiping the trash, as their voice begins to crack under the pressure. They will change their tactics from being helpful and thoughtful to a little bit more argumentative and hostile. Eventually, your raid leads will develop a loss of trust in the abilities of others, and most importantly, in themselves. It is recommended that 2 people share this responsibility in order to limit the time it takes for the illness to spread. but just know, it is inevitable. Once your raid leads have a nervous breakdown, well, you can just go find another. Oh, and don't worry, you'll develop a mental illness too! No loot methodology will ever be perfect. It doesn't matter whether you're doing MSOS +1, That's My BIS, Loot Council, or any other form of loot. There'll always be somebody that's happy and others that aren't.
Oh, dude, 4 strength, 4 stam, leather belt.
This may come as a surprise, but oddly enough, those that are happy are the ones that tend up getting loot. If you do end up implementing Loot Council, it doesn't matter how efficient and effective they are, they will always be seen as corrupt. It's vital that you're also on the Loot Council, because it's important to get those drops over others. Because who does more work than you, huh? Drama here is inevitable, and you will have the pleasure of seeing grown men cry over pixelated items that bear no impact in their real lives. From a guild bank perspective, it's important that you keep those permissions all to yourself to avoid any post-marital divorce settlements where the officers you deeply trusted end up fucking you over and robbing you for more than half.
I got robbed by a sweet old lady on a motorized cart. I didn't even see it come.
One major benefit of being a GM, though, is that you can just rob the guild yourselves without impunity. And then just go start another. It doesn't matter if your guild is hardcore, semi-hardcore, casual, semi-hardcore casual, or any fucking mishmash of concepts and themes that your guild grew into without your knowledge. People will not always get along, and this is especially true with your officers. One of my favorite pastimes is actually seeing them argue over things you've implemented and done without their consent and knowledge. Haha, idiots! But due to their active responsibilities, it's just best that they don't have a say anyway. Shh. Talented players won't stay because the rest of your guild is shit. Some players are better than others. It doesn't matter how many class discussions you do, or guides, or how many times you analyze their log and provide them with practical feedback. The rule is, if you want good players, you gotta kick the shit ones out. If you have multiple raids, there will always be a Team B. Now, you can verbalize and dress this up like any fucking salad that you want. You can promise your multiple raids that everyone is equal and equivalent. And even if your intentions are good, there will always be raids that outperform the others. One important thing though is, you don't want to stretch yourself too thin. You don't want to lose your best players because they're part of the shittier raids. It is expected that these other raids will certainly halt in progress. Now, I always found it to be a worthwhile exercise to make your other guildies compete for that raid spot in a sparring deathmatch. It is inevitable that the shittier raids disband because they don't progress, but hey, at least you found some diamonds in the rough. Following from that, the last point is, if you don't prog, you die. At the end of the day, even if you're a fucking RP guild and all you do is attend cattle in Elwyn Forest, people play for loot. And in order to get loot, you have to down bosses. The telltale sign of any guild heading towards its imminent destruction is the lack of progress. And even worse is deprogression, where the bosses you used to kill, you just end up not being able to anymore. Well, that's it. That is all the things I wish I knew before becoming a guild master in World of Warcraft. I hope you're ready for a long and onerous journey with zero appreciation. Now don't worry, I'm sure all the hours you spent in all this was worth it. You may have met a few friends along the way, but you lost your insanity in the process. Worth, right? Good luck!